Hello. Hello, everybody. Wait, somebody already donated $50. Jesus. I didn't expect that. You're early. You're early. How are your guys' days today? What time is it in your country? Do a flip. Good morning. Merry Christmas. Oh yeah, it is Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone. Are you married? Why would you ask that? Or is Nylon Matthew? He's sick, unfortunately. I haven't posted in like a day or two because I was just dealing with some sickness. It's pretty normal to deal with like some sickness when you travel. It generally hits in like the third or fourth day, so I was kind of sick. So I stayed in for like a day. Luckily I had my flu shot, so I dealt with it like pretty easy. So I am back on my feet like 2 days after, and I edited a video today, so that's cool. 10 a.m. in the US right now. Damn. And so today I visited Shimokitazawa, and it was pretty nice. It's got a lot of fashion and stuff, so that was kind of cool. Any plan to come to Osaka? I've already been to Osaka this trip. I spent a day to meet up with a friend that was coming from Germany. He was also visiting Japan at the same time, so I went with Orange Jesus to visit him a bit. But like overall, just being in Japan is pretty nice. There is no Orange Jesus. Yeah, he's sick in the hotel room right now. He can't come with me, unfortunately. I mean, at least it's not so bad because Japan's like so safe that I could walk around in the middle of the night and not even have to worry, like at all. I don't really have a care in the world right now about like anything. Getting crushed gear or Tamiya. I went to the hobby shop in Osaka. I saw like or what? Hi, are you trans? What? So it's like I went to like a hobby shop in what is it? Osaka, by the Dotonbori River, and that was pretty cool. I don't know. It's like very autistic, like modeling kits, and I thought that was pretty neat. Transformers. Are there a lot of stars out in that city area, or is it mostly blacked out sky? The sky is blacked out. I think it's just too much light pollution. Udon or ramen? I think I prefer udon. But you know, there is a lot of things I've noticed about Japan since I was visiting here. And I like to make these small observations about just random things a lot. And it's just like I pay attention to just like small random details that most other people never pick on. But like I think like some interesting things I've noticed is some people say like how Japan is not very productive, not very efficient. And I think I know why. It's because a lot of productivity is actually based on like how much money is produced per hour or like per capita or something. And one thing I noticed in Japan is that whenever you go into a shop, there's like a lot more employees than there would be in the North America. Why are you looking always sleepy? Because a lot of the time I am always sleepy. I don't know why. Could just because I'm acoustic. What are your thoughts on pineapples? I like pineapples. I just don't like how they burn your tongue. I wish they didn't do that. If they didn't burn my tongue, I would try to eat them more, I think. Have you seen Santa yet? I saw a Santa brigade. There's a bunch of dudes on motorcycles dressed up as Santa, and then they're dressed up as Santa or something, and they're just like riding in a brigade down like the street, and I thought that was kind of funny. It's like, yeah, down the street, like not here, but somewhere. Tanuki o mimashita ka? I didn't see a tanuki. I saw some tanuki statues. They have big balls. Have you tried McDonald's there? I actually have tried McDonald's there. Or here, I mean. It's pretty good. I like how when you order something in Japan, it always comes out exactly as it does in the picture. I feel like in Japan, it's like I noticed is like through statistics, people like to say Japan is very inefficient. Yeah, they like to say Japan is very inefficient because they have like low GDP per capita. But I think one of the reasons why is because like when you employ staff, they actually hire a lot more people for the job than is necessary. And I notice what they do is they actually seem to employ. Oh, there we go. I think we're back. We back, baby. Where are you going? Osaka samui no? Right, now I'm in Tokyo. But I noticed like in Japan is that they have a lot more employees on staff. Like for example, at a 7-Eleven. In the West, it's like in North America, it's pretty common to have one person on staff and that person is just like a loner. Whereas in Japan, at minimum, there is 2 people on staff. Like at the service counter, they never have just one person. It's always at least 2 people. I think one of the reasons why is because they can socialize with each other. and that in turn makes you a lot more nicer to talk to. Are you guarded by Orange Jesus today? No, he's not here. I'm just out on my own. It's very safe here in Japan, so I'm not so worried. But like, yeah, in Japan, it's like everybody is set in pairs for social bonding reasons, I guess. So like, when people are set onto a task, they usually do it in pairs. Companies generally tend to do that. And I think maybe it's not the most efficient technically through like GDP, like through money. But I think for what I notice businesses try to do in Japan is that they seem to focus, or they seem to care more about reputation. They seem to care more about reputation more than overall like efficiency, or I guess maybe like reputation is more important to Japanese companies than like technical profits or efficiency per se. Because when you employ multiple people on staff, it seems like when they're not actually helping customers, they do talk to each other a lot, I've noticed. Whereas I notice like for American or Western companies, generally talking to your coworkers is not seen as like very good. People even get married just for the status over there. It's interesting. It's like, yeah, it's just weird things I kind of noticed. I kind of tried to like ponder about it or something to see why. It's like wondering why it was a thing. I guess it's like, it does make sense. It's like, yeah, they care more about reputation here than anything. It's like, for example, if you have a single person on staff at 7-Eleven, the person is just inherently going to be more angsty because they're alone. That's just the human condition, right? So once they're alone, they have no one to talk to, they're going to not give as much shits about the customer. But if you employ them in pairs, when they're not talking to the customers, they talk to each other. So they're going to inherently be in a better mood. So they have like inherent mood regulators. And also they have, it's like a mood regulator, right? And it's also, they can check each other for like if they're doing good, right? You don't want to mess up your job in front of like your buddy. That's not a good look, I guess. So maybe it's like not the most efficient per se, but it does get the job done better. It's done right. Have you noticed like other people doing live streams walking down the street? I think a couple people I've seen, but most people don't do that. Very few people. It's like maybe one or two. Can you show me the building behind you? I can't see it. Like this. But it's like also, I don't know, it's like, people also seem to say that like Japanese people are just very lonely. To be honest, looking at this country, I'm kind of having a hard time believing it. They seem to socialize and interact with each other a lot more than anything I've seen in my life, to be honest. Like, for example, at work, you socialize as like your general thing. They socialize at work, after work, And it's even very common to find your wife at work. So it's like stuff like that. It makes me think it's like, makes me question whether the whole stereotype is true or not. And also, some people talk about like how, oh, you have those restaurants that are like single stall, like when people say like those ramen restaurants where you don't have to interact with the staff or whatever, or something like that. People are like, oh, Japanese people are so isolated and lonely that they have these things that isolate themselves more, right? Actually, weirdly enough, I have used those restaurants, and the reason why is not actually because like what people think. It's because in Japan, I think the density is so much higher compared to America. If you go to America or Canada, density is so much lower. It's not as common to be surrounded by people. In Japan, thank you for the $2. In Japan, when you go to places, you're always surrounded by people. You're always in a crowd because the density is so high. And for me, being like a very introverted and also autistic person, being in those crowds all the time can actually be quite like stressful. They are very stressful for me, to be honest. They're very stressful. They're kind of tiring. So I do ironically like to use those ramen restaurants just so I can get a break from talking with the people. So ですね。日本人でも疲れちゃうよ。It's like those are things I've noticed just being here. I'm genuinely really curious of just what it's like to live here from like my perspective, because I know for other people, right, where they experience Japan from like a very American perspective, and I assume that there's a bunch of different perspectives that go into it, right? Like, for example, Americans can come into Japan with the preconception that Japanese people are very lonely and that they don't interact with people very much. But if you are an American coming to Japan, for example, you are just going to find things that reinforce your belief, because if you're, for example, a white American, like non-Asian American, you come to Japan, if you don't speak the language, you can't expect people to interact with you. There's no way for people to interact with you because nobody speaks English here. So if you are like, especially a white American, and you come to Japan, first of all, nobody expects you to speak Japanese. Second of all, most Americans that come to Japan don't speak any Japanese. And then they might complain that's like, oh, when I lived in Japan, nobody talked to me. But they don't think it's maybe because they don't speak Japanese. They think maybe it's because Japanese people are lonely. So it might just be that they are, I guess, reinforcing their beliefs, but for the wrong reasons. How did you figure that you're autistic? I was diagnosed with autism from a very young age. I was diagnosed with autism when I was like 7 or 8. So I've always known that I was autistic for a long time. Talk to your style. I'm never going to Japan without a friend that knows Japanese. I definitely recommend, if you do have a friend that knows Japanese and you go to Japan, it makes the experience so much better if you have someone who knows the language. If you're going here alone and you don't know any Japanese, you shouldn't expect an interesting experience other than just the surface level stuff. It's like expecting someone who doesn't know English to go to America and be confused when Americans don't know what to say to him. Like, you need to learn the language if you want to have good interactions with people. It's really worth it, in my opinion, because for me, my experience talking with Japanese people, they're very genuine. They're very frank. I know, like, the stereotype is that they're not. They're like, I guess, tatemae. They're not straightforward is the stereotype, but I actually found them to be a lot more straightforward than Americans. Like, for example, for American people, it's considered rude to comment on literally anything, any physical trait. Commenting on any physical trait about someone is considered rude in America. You're not allowed to call someone tall. You're not allowed to say someone's fat. You're not allowed to say anything specific about them. Like, you're not as, even if it's like something that might be good, you're not allowed to state it. Like, for example, if someone's pretty, like actually attractive, or like pretty or not pretty, you still say regardless, you just say they're pretty in America. Whereas I know in Japan, just from like me like walking around, I hear people commenting on my height and like my appearance a lot around me. I think it's kind of funny. That would never happen to me in America. They'd stare at me, they'd look at me like there is something weird about me, but they never say anything about it. Never. They'll never comment on it because that's rude. Would you say Americans are too sensitive? Yeah, I've genuinely run into this, like, just the issue of, like, I feel like when I talk with Americans, I'm kind of stepping on eggshells. It's like they're not trying to be rude, and I say like a lot of Americans are very nice. They're kind of like teddy bear like, but also in a way it can be like sort of like stepping on eggshells around them, and it's hard to talk to them. For me, like as a very like a more Asian person, it can be kind of difficult. Do you believe God is autistic, where he has autistic meltdown when he creates the universe? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm God. Like, I just always had an issue with that. Like, it's also another thing I've noticed here is that, the party culture that's like really common in like America. This is like the crazy parties where you drink just to get shit-faced drunk, and then you go and have like some like sex with just some random guy for the night or whatever. It exists here to some extent, but it's definitely like not as common. It's not very common. There's some places for sure that do have stuff like that, but it's not like a huge part of the culture. I would even dare to say it might not even, what the fuck? Is there something inside that bag? I would even dare to say it's not, I wouldn't say it's uncommon, but I wouldn't say it's common, I guess. Wait, we're supposed to do that with guys? I don't know, like, one of the reasons why I just, like, I couldn't really, I guess, hang out with friends or anything is because a lot of them just wanted to go to parties, get shit-faced drunk, and like have a one-night stand with someone. And it's like, I just can never. I think that's like really hedonistic. I don't like it. Something about me, about that, just disgusts me. But the annoying thing about living in Canada is that it feels like that's the only thing you can do. Like, if I don't want to party and get shit-faced drunk, and like have a one-night stand with some random person, there's no other choices. It's like I either go on Discord and like talk with some like people who play like League of Legends, or I get shit-faced drunk at a party, and it's like there's like no in between. I believe in getting shit-faced drunk by myself in isolation in my room, maybe raiding Discord world channels afterwards. Are you homeless? No, I'm not homeless. I'm just walking around the back alleys of Tokyo. It's very peaceful, actually. Guys, I gotta show you my cool drip I got today in Shimokitazawa. So, you know how I like to wear sort of kimono. Oops. There we go. I like to wear sort of streetwear mixed with like traditional kimono wear. So I got these pants. You see these? These look sick. These look awesome. So I got these jeans, and then the actual person who made these, they took some kimono fabric and then they just sewed it into the jeans like this. So then it goes with my kind of look where I got like the streetwear. I got the streetwear kind of like jacket here, but it has like the traditional patterns on it. So these jeans, they're kind of like streetwear. Oh, they're not really streetwear jeans, but they're jeans, more like Americano. And then they have the kimono patterns. I thought that was really cool. Once I saw that, I was like, yo, wait, I need this. Drip master. Very fashionable. The great thing about like fashion here too is that it's not even very expensive. Like these clothes I have, they're not expensive. It's like I like to dress up because I like to express myself, but I don't like going for like name brands. I actually, if I do spend a lot of money on like clothes, it's always from a individual seller. Like old man coughing. Like when I buy some like more expensive clothes, like maybe something that's above $100, like this, I guess this sweater here. I like to actually talk to the person who made it. Like that's, to me, that's what creates value in it for me, is actually talking to the person who made it with their own hands, like, because they're an artist, right? So like for example, this thing right here, I was in Toronto once, and I was looking around in the Kensington market or something, and then there was this one shop that specializes in making like sort of Japanese sort of clothing, like Japanese inspired clothing, and I got to talk to the person that actually was like tailoring these. So what she did is she took regular thrift clothes like that she found in like in the Kensington market, and then she combined them with other clothes. So yeah, they just combine the clothes together, and then that gets like something new out of it. And I talked with her about like doing art and stuff, because I'm also an artist too. It was an it was an interesting conversation. I don't know, she kind of seemed like sort of awkward, like for like really awkward autistic people, when you spot like an autist, is like the communication is actually like better. I don't know if like I think I've read like a study on this or something. You've grown a lot as both a person and an influencer. Me, a lot of others may not have been with you from the beginning, but we still appreciate you. Thank you. I'm glad I have people that are just there to like hang out, or just, I don't know. I just want to get people to just do their thing. I guess I know that right now I'm technically not doing very neat-like things, but this time is special, so I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm not going to let people be crabs in a bucket. I think the important part is that I'm still relatable to people who are neats. I'm still relatable to people who are neats, at least. Not necessarily that I do all like neat things all the time. Because I think honestly, being forced into that is sort of like a crabs in the bucket mentality, in my opinion. If you're walking at night where I live, you'd be already mugged, shanked, and kidnapped twice. I know, I love it. I know, right? The tailor I bought my suit from has a katana for shop defense. Isn't that something? That actually is kind of sick, not gonna lie. That's pretty cool. Your outfits are really cool. Thank you. I get people commenting on my outfits all the time here. It seems people really like it, like my outfit here. Almost Christmas. It is Christmas, isn't it? It's past 12, for me at least. When did you even get that jacket? It looks so good. I actually got it like a year and a half ago. I saw some person on Discord like posting a picture of him like wearing the jacket or something. I love the design. It's not actually a Japanese jacket. I'm pretty sure the creator of it is Filipino. I believe they're from the Philippines, but they seem to be a fan of like the kimono designs, and they sort of push like this sort of anime-ish. Don't qualify as a neat technically, but still neat at heart maybe. I mean, that's what I say. Because, like for people who were neats and did the struggle, when you talk to another neat who is in the situation too, you kind of get their situation. You can empathize with them. like everybody knows like when you've struggled. When you talk to someone, and you talk about your issues, right, with them, the really empathetic people, like, you can tell when you're talking that they've also struggled too. And it's like you feel this sort of connection, like, oh, we've both felt struggle at some point in our lives. We can relate to each other very well. It's like, yeah, when you talk to someone, maybe in the first like 5-10 minutes of talking to them, you're just like, what? You can tell, it's like, yeah, this person's been through some shit, right? Have you experienced anything weird or sus? Well, when I was waiting for Orange Jesus at 7-Eleven, actually, there was like I think there was like some high schoolers that were like trying to rizz me up or something. So I was recording myself. What is it? I was recording myself like doing a sketching vlog. So I recorded my sketch vlog today. I edited it, but I didn't actually post it yet. So I'm gonna post it after I finish this stream. Where are you? I'm in Tokyo. But yeah, I was waiting for Matthew, Orange Jesus, outside of the 7-Eleven. And I think these 3 high schoolers, they saw me like recording and speaking English to the camera for like recording my thing. And so one of the 3 just like started like staring at me, kind of like looking at me. and then after I finished recording and stuff, he's like, "Hello. Hello." And then I just like kind of tried to ignore it and like walk away, cause it was just really awkward. And so I like came back because he was just like in front of the 7-Eleven where Matthew was like in. So I had to come back to check if Matthew was still there. I come back, he's like still staring at me. And I go to him and I said, Nani? Just like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? And he's like, hello, how are you? And I'm like, I'm waiting for my friend. I said, ダッチを待ってる. And he's like, friend? Actually, I your friend. and I was like, wait a minute, what the fuck is this guy trying to say? And you could see like his 2 other friends are just like, bro, come on. His 2 other friends are like cringing at him like really hard. And he said like, you my friend. And even though I'm speaking Japanese to him, he's really trying to speak English to me. Cause interesting thing about like Japanese people is if you come to Japan, even if you are Asian, if they know you speak English, they will try to practice their English with you sometimes. They will do their best 100% just to practice their English. Even if you speak Japanese. And I was like, He's like, you are my friend. And I was like, doshite? Like, why? I'm like, why? And then his buddies came up to him, was like, yo, she said she's waiting for her friend. Just come on, man. Like, just get over here. And then Matthew came out. So. No, or it's like, no, what happened was he was like, you are my friend. And I was like, doshite? Why? And he's like, because. And he like tries to go for a hug like this. And it was like, what the fuck? And he said, no thanks. Kekko desu. Daijoubu. And then his friends were just like, come on, dude. Like, no. Just get over here. Kekko desu. It's like, what the fuck? Gomennasai. It was like, what the fuck is going on? And his friends were like, come on, man. She said she's waiting for her friends. Like, let's just go. I'm just like, bro, what the fuck just happened? Did it feel annoying though? It was kind of funny. It was funny, to be honest. But it's like I could tell the cringe. The cringe that his friends were. When did that happen? It happened like earlier today when I was in Shimokitazawa. I was like, what the fuck? And then I also remember another time where I was in like Osaka a little bit, and I went into the store. There was two guys just like trying on some like clothes or whatever, right? And and, and like they were saying stuff like, oh my god, oh shoku. They just like kept like adding like English into their sentences because they're like America boos. 100% they were like America boos. They got the whole like Americano drip going on, and they looked like the type of Japanese people that like to think that like smoking weed is like hard shit. There's like Japanese people that like think like smoking weed is like the hardest shit. They're like, oh shit, man, like you're so like metal, you smoke weed. Oh man, that's like hard shit, bro. You smoke weed like the Americans, bro. That's like hard as fuck. But it's like they're 100% America boos. So then I went up to them and I said, well, I went up to them and I said like, America ga suki nano? It's like, do you like America? And then they're like, America ga meccha suki desu yo. And I was like, 実は私はカナダ人なんです。I was like, they're like, oh, I love America so much, and I was like, actually, believe it or not, I'm a Canadian, and they're like, oh, you Canada? Oh, oh my God, do you speak Japanese? And I'm like, and then the guy's friend was just like, それもちろん日本語話してるん日本語で話してるんだよ話してた So like his friend was just like no shit, she's speaking to you in Japanese right now. Like of course she speaks Japanese. He's just, I love America. Do you speak Japanese? And I'm like, and his friend's like, no shit, she's speaking to you in Japanese. That was like the funniest shit. She's like, I love America so much. Wow. Oh, it's so cool. You see the I love Canada. It's so maple syrup. Remember watching vids from Japanese people talk about their experience studying abroad, and they always mention weed is kind of funny. Yeah, they always mention weed. It's like, whoa, weed. It's like, because in Japan, weed is like hard, like metal. Like, it's like the hardest shit you can think of. It's like, yo, you smoke weed? No way. You're like such a rebel, bro. You're like hard as fuck, man. I just think it's like really funny. Or a lot of the time when I mention to people like I'm from Canada, they say like, oh, 大麻合法でしょ? Like, oh, weed's legal there. So that's how you become cool in Japan, you smoke weed. It's very specific people. There's a very specific type of person in Japan. It's like they really try to integrate themselves with like the black culture because they think it's like really cool. So they listen to hip hop. They listen to hip hop. They they listen to hip hop, and then they also like, what else? They get dreadlocks, some of them. They wear very Americano clothes. So they try so hard to be American, but they're wearing like some sort of like UPS looking at like unironically in Shimokitazawa in these like used stores. There's like these sweaters that are just straight up UPS like uniforms. Like, or like unironically just security guard outfits. Don't forget the perms. But it's like I've seen people wearing the I've seen people in Japan wearing the Home Depot drip. Like the Home Depot drip, the UPS drip, and then also like the, what else? Like the Rona drip, or like the security guard drip. It's like it's the funniest thing to see that. Oh, there's a car coming here. I don't want to get isekai'd. Oh, no, it stopped. Okay. I was like, what the like, actually, what the fuck is this? Like, someone's got that, like, UPS strip there. Bro is, like, fully there with his UPS strip. Looking like you're gonna celebrate Christmas. I mean, I don't know. They celebrate Christmas more like Valentine's Day here. If you guys don't know, in Japan they give people chocolates on Valentine's, or not on Valentine's Day, on Christmas. So the girls will give chocolates to guys. There's separate chocolates for a love interest and for just general like manners. So it's generally polite to give people like for the girls to give guys chocolates. Wait, what the fuck is this? Why is there a Shadow the Hedgehog? Why is there just Shadow the Hedgehog head like on this pole here? Did someone drop this? I think someone dropped this and just left it here so that they can get it back. Thank you for the donation. How much was it? 100 real. Jesus, thank you so much. Merry Christmas. Are you feeling less sick today? Yeah, I'm feeling much better today. Shadow absolutely based. 일본어でなんだっけソイツソニックスイーツソニックかShadow the Hedgehog. What time is it in Japan? It's almost 1 o'clock right now. It's kind of late in Japan. Would be funny if she had no idea how much a real was worth. Most people think that non-dollar currencies are monopoly money. I don't really know how much real was worth. Actually, from how much you donate, it seems like 1 real is worth 25 cents or 25 American dollars. 1 real is worth 25 American cents because it just went up about 25. Yeah, you're approximately right, I guess. It's like, you know, talking with Japanese people, they're so like funny. They're silly. They're weird. Japan bros are pretty funny. I like my Japan bros. Do you want to travel the whole world? I mean, who doesn't? If you can, you might as well, right? Is it safe to walk alone? Yes, in Japan it is safe to walk alone in the middle of the night. Nobody is gonna do anything to you. Well, except very rare cases. There is some very rare cases where you might get like attacked, but it's very uncommon. In Canada, I would never do this. Never do this in Canada. You will get mugged. Unless you're in like a very unless you're in a more like suburb area of Canada where there's no homeless people. Then you're gonna be fine for the most part. But like in Canada, this is just generally a no-no. I'm from Japan. 私の配信にようこそ。If you want to travel around the world, where would you go? I don't know. I want to see like European places, or like some European places, mainly Asian countries. I'm definitely more like an Asian country person because I am Asian, so makes sense. Really? Damn, I didn't know Canada was as bad as the US for that. It's not as bad as the US, but it's still quite bad depending on where you live. Like, out of like first world countries, Canada is still quite high in crime because it's attached to the US and we have US culture. So Canadians like to assume that like Canada is special because it's Canadian or whatever, and they're like, Canada's like to think that they're like, they have no connection to America and that they're better than Americans. The thing is that Canadians are pretty much just Americans. Like, oh, look at this. I found a shrine. Look at this. It's a giant Torii gate. Isn't that cool? That's awesome. I love these Torii. Before you go through the gates, you have to bow. You don't have to bow, not everybody does it, but I have seen people doing it. Thank you for the €2. Did you pray today? No, I did not. I'm looking to get a shrine for my great grandma here in Japan. So you guys can see there's a shrine here. It's really beautiful, actually. It's really nice how you can just walk around Japan and like walk through all these streets and you come across like random stuff like this. Thank you for the 25 pesos. Merry Christmas, Elisa from the Philippines. Enjoy your day. Thank you so much for the donation. Patch, patch, patch. But I don't think there's any signs that say there's no trespassing. I think it should be fine. No, I think I'm fine. So, like before, so you bow before you enter in the gate. And generally you want to make sure you So over there, you can see So over here, you can see these things here. This is so that you can wash your hands. So when you enter into a shrine, before you pray, you need to make sure you wash your hands and rinse your mouth. So you take the little like spoon things, you rinse your hands with them, and then you do one, you put it like you take a sip to rinse your mouth and you spit it out. And then here, well, the place where you pray is behind this gate here. So you go to this, like behind this gate. Normally it would be open, right now it's closed. And then you do 2 claps, a bow. No, you do 1 bow first, 2 claps, and then you bow again, and then you do a pray. And that's it. And then once you get out of the shrine, Once you're finished, you face towards the shrine, you do another bow, and then you leave. What religion is that? Buddhism? That is Shintoism. Is that easy? What do you mean, is it easy? It seems pretty easy. It's just the general process. People say Japanese aren't religious, meanwhile there's temples everywhere. I mean, if you just look at Japanese histories, Japanese was dominated by Buddhism like very heavily for most of their history. There used to be an extremely Buddhist country. The only reason why they're not considered Buddhist anymore and they're more like Shintoist is because for the Meiji Restoration, because the government didn't want Buddhism to overtake the country like it did in Europe. Like in Europe, how you'd have war monks because the Catholics had so much power over over Europe. It's how the kings didn't have power over the Catholic priests. They didn't want that to happen in Japan, so they what the government did is that I think they removed Buddhist practices and replaced them with Shinto practices. So they made Japan's official religion Shintoism instead of Buddhism. I think that's what it is. Don't take my facts as like 100% correct because I'm just thinking of them off of my head. すげえ詳しいね。詳しい。Are you mad? No. They are both really beautiful religions. They work in tandem. I mean, Shintoism is literally just like a reskin of Buddhism, in my opinion. It's like Shintoism technically existed before Buddhism, but when it was when it was first started, it was more like folklore. And then Buddhism was introduced to Japan after the fact, but Shintoism developed along with Buddhism in Japan. So at some point, they were literally the same thing. Shintoism and Buddhism were the same thing for a long time in Japan. But all the Shinto practices are based from Buddhism, or almost all of them. Like 90% of the practices are from Buddhism. So Shintoism isn't really as unique as people think it is. It's more just like Buddhism with extra steps. That's why there's no Christmas culture in Japan. Christmas is more like Valentine's Day here. Still need to read the Koshoki. It kind of goes over the myths and stuff. Yeah, I never read it, so I don't really know. To be honest, it's a little bit boring. I might eventually get into it, but only for like artistic reasons. That stuff would be too boring for me to... Some water drainage. That stuff would be too boring for me to like listen or read, to be honest. I'd only read it if I was trying to get like inspiration for my artwork. This is so liminal, I feel like I may be in a horror film here. Maybe I should get back to the main road. Wait, it's right there, so never mind. Have you taken the time to experience the country without streaming? well, I experienced the country without streaming last time I came here. So last year, yeah, last year I came here for a month. Here for a month just to like see what's up. I talked to the how I pay your respect in the shrine is because last year on New Year's when I came to Japan, I actually asked the locals to tell me how you're supposed to do it. And so they actually went out of their way to teach me how it's done. So that was very wholesome. Lag. Oh, it's lagging. That's no good. It's glitching creepy. How long are you in Japan for? I'm here for about like 3 weeks. Do Japanese have a winter solstice celebration like most cultures? Not influenced. Oh, I don't think so. Because in Asia you have New Year's, so this is not just like in Asia, like in the West. Christmas is the main celebration. Christmas is like the big deal. In Asia, it's New Year's that's the big deal. The yokai are attacking you. Is your hair really straight? Yes, it is. But this is literally my natural hair. I don't do anything to my hair. I don't even really use shampoo or like conditioner. Sonodori desu. 現状合ってるかな。現状が大事ですよね。Yeah, I mean this applies for all Asian cultures, or most. I don't know if all of them, maybe not all of them, but most Asian cultures. For Korea, China, Korea, China, Japan, Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, it's all the same thing. They all celebrate like they all celebrate the there's a guy throwing across the street. But it's mainly like the New Year's, that's the big celebration. Come typeの紙が必要です。Lamau. He's just throwing up. I think that's a tourist, isn't it? No, I think it's a tourist. It's maybe there's like they got like motion sickness. I don't know. They're just throwing up for some reason. Do many people go live in Japan at night? I think so. Like a lot of streamers, they go live at night because it aligns better with American like timelines. So, because right now it's like it's 1 at night, but in America it's like government's shuttered down. How's the Beyblade hunt and everything going? I actually found some Beyblades. Maybe I'm gonna find some more Beyblades later. This is the Japanese vending machine. It's pretty cool. I like it. I like the drinks they have. They have a lot more different flavors and stuff. So you got the coffee. You got the coffees. You got the orange drinks and the you got like the fruit drinks. You got Pocari Sweat. I love Pocari Sweat. Pocari Sweat's like my favorite drink. You got the teas. What else do you have? You have Uncle. You have red bean drink. That sounds interesting. You know, I'm gonna try the red bean drink. That sounds like kind of interesting. Does it really taste like sweat? Jibanki. Pocari 好きなんだ。好きですよ. I actually prefer like Japanese drinks over American ones because they're a lot less sweet. American drinks are just like way too sweet. Get like I'm gonna try the Anko drink because that sounds interesting. I do wonder what a red bean drink tastes like. I need to get my change. I was gonna put a 500 yen coin in there. So I gotta put a 500 yen coin. Let's try this. Otsuri. Give me my change. Does it give me in hundreds? Oh, yes it did it. Wait. Give me 200 yen coins. No, give me 3. Nice. I like to save the 100 yen coins because then you can use them on Gachapon. That's kind of nice. Oh, it's hot. It's actually warm. That's kind of cool. Oshiroko. So this is a oh. Wait, is my video feed just frozen? For some reason, my video feed just died. The fuck? It's frozen, help. Is this better? Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, we're back. videoは止まった音が聞こえる。Okay, we're back. I got this Azuki bean drink here. Seems pretty interesting. I'm a really big fan of like any sort of food that has red bean in it. My grandma made like a lot of dishes with red bean, so I love red bean flavor in general. I know a lot of people don't like red bean, and it's a little weird to get used to, but I like it a lot. Red bean is a good source of protein. Definitely smells like beans. Oh, there's like tiny little... It's like crushed beans. Mmm. Mmm. Oh, this is like the soupy part. So you see the drink here? It's like the Azuki bean soup. Oshiriko. It's like the soupy part of it, that without the beans. It's a little bit sweet. It's got the beanie flavor. It's got the flavor of the red beans in it, but it doesn't really have like the beans itself in it. I actually like it a lot. This drink's actually pretty amazing, although, to be honest, in my opinion, I wouldn't drink this very often because it is actually quite sweet. This is very sweet, actually. It was like a little... I thought it was like a little bit sweet when I first drank it, but now it's like... After trying to drink the rest of it, it's quite sweet and rich. Oh wait, there is actually a little bit of beans in it. So, I do like it. I wouldn't drink it often. It does actually have some beans in it. You can hear like beans in it. Beans. I love beans. Japan is very safe. You're not afraid of going out at night? No, I'm not. There's not a single person outside. There's no druggies. I haven't seen a single drugged up person. And what else? I've seen homeless people. One of the few places that there is homeless people actually is Ueno. In Ueno Park, there is homeless people. Not very many of them. And also, they keep to themselves, so they're not very dangerous. The problem in Canada is that the homeless people are on drugs. They're very aggressive. If you come near them, they might try to kill you. So, I always try to avoid going outside alone in Canada because of that reason. Koi yo Canada. Koi. Canada is very scary. But it is very common for people just to like straight up just stab you for no reason. Cause it's not because it's not because you did anything. It's just because they're drugged up. They make really stupid choices. So they literally just kill people. And you can't send them to prison for that either, because the way the Canadian government works is that someone with like 1% like Native American blood, even if they killed someone or like done like heinous acts and should go to prison for it because they're dangerous. Oh, there you go. It's like they still get set free because they're just like 1% like Native American or like black or something. I don't know, like something really stupid. It like pisses me off because a lot of the police even say that people who are committing the crimes are like the same offenders. Like they're the same like small group of people that just keeps committing crimes over and over again. When you can never like get them actually like put in prison. Osaka にいるの、東京にいるよ。Favorite Japanese food. What is my favorite Japanese food? I don't know. Maybe like takoyaki. Thank you for the 125 pesos. It's nice to do a street photography over there. Or maybe Japan has strict rules on street photography. No, they're not so strict when it comes to that. I don't think. Street photography is perfectly fine. I see people doing it a lot. And actually, I mean, the best cameras are made in Japan for exactly those reasons. I think it's just for Japan when it comes to like filming and posting it online, like filming people's faces for TV. I don't even know if it applies the same for the internet, but I know for television, they're really strict when it comes to having to blur out people's faces. So you'll see in TV, they're gonna go to places, or Japanese TV, they go to places and every single person that's in the shot has their face blurred out because they have like laws for that. Protection for privacy. Yeah, something like that. But they're a lot more strict when it comes in like America when it comes to stuff like that. No Mexican food places? I've seen a couple, but they're very rare. Like, Mexican food places here seem very rare. Mainly the food places I'd be down for is just like, well, I like Japanese food. There's Thai food and Vietnamese food. And there's Chinese food. And I'd be perfectly happy just like eating Asian food the rest of my life. I definitely prefer eating it over just like American food. Pho, pho or ramen, fight me. To be honest, I like pho over ramen. I think ramen's too heavy. I like ramen, yes, but I cannot eat it every single day and not get sick of it because it is very heavy. Although for pho, it is, you get a lot of food, but it is a lot lighter. Actually, someone, like the Japanese people in my chat recommended me try like Yokohama Ieke ramen. I tried it. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is so fucking salty. Ah. It was like a really thick soup, very flavorful, but it was so salty. I was like dying from the ingestion of salt. Although, to be fair, I got the Shio ramen, so maybe it was more salty than it should have been. And also, the soup was very thick. It was very thick soup. I've tried Yokohama Ieke ramen and also Hakata ramen. I think I like the Hakata, yeah. I think I like the Hakata ramen better. Chain K はあんまり美味しくない。そうなんですか。So if I don't go to a chain, it wouldn't be. It's gonna be better. Although in Tokyo there's more chains, so maybe I need to go to like more of a suburb. For real, are you drunk, milady? No, I don't drink alcohol. I don't drink. Yeah, I'm gonna walk back to my hotel. So, thank you guys for watching my stream. Thank you for stopping by. I'm gonna try to post more, and please stay in touch with my streams and my videos. Alright. Goodbye, everybody.